Horror movies emulate life in many ways. Sometimes we can also feel trapped, alone, and feel we have nobody that we could confide in. Or worse yet, we try to go through tough times alone so we won't be a burden to those we love. The sponsor BetterHelp is an option for when you want a licensed professional counselor, someone else to talk to besides family and friends. What I like about BetterHelp is that it is extremely private and it can be as confidential or anonymous as you need for it to be. There are group webinars you can join. The topics can range from how to get better and more relaxing sleep to ways you can rebuild trust in a relationship or recognizing toxic elements in your life. You get all that along with the access to timely messages and a weekly live session from your counselor. The service is available worldwide. Over 1 million people have signed up, and you can start communicating in under 24 hours. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/scary. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/scary.
Hey, I'm Markeia. Want to hear something scary?
Pumpkin Panic. Nothing says Halloween like a pumpkin, and nothing is more rewarding than growing your own. But sometimes that thing you grow gets out of your control, and there is a terrible price to pay to tame it. The same dream plagues Robin every night. A gigantic spider hunts. Covered in the darkest of shadows, the only thing she makes out about this giant predator is its gruesome jack-o'-lantern face. There, the screams, then the silence. She tries to run, but the spider is coming to her faster and faster. It catches up to her every single time, and just before she looks up into its giant, grinning maw, she wakes up. Robin sat upright in bed, drenched in sweat, and looked out her bedroom window at the humongous pumpkin growing in her backyard. She realized the dream started after she planted the mysterious seeds that came in the mail a few weeks ago. Everyone was receiving them, and no one knew where they came from. On the news, they told people to destroy the seeds and not to plant them, but Robin had been too curious. She planted the seeds and spent the next few weeks nurturing her new plant baby as it sprouted. She'd always wanted a pumpkin garden, and to her surprise and delight, a pumpkin quickly appeared and it grew fast. Too fast and too big. She realized planting those seeds might have been a mistake, but she couldn't bring herself to destroy her new plant either, at least not willingly. Robin went outside to look at the huge pumpkin. She'd stopped nurturing it a week ago, but it was still getting bigger. So big it was beginning to bust through her fence. "You need to get rid of that monstrosity, young lady," yelled her neighbor, the elderly Mr. Spivey. Robin backed away from her crotchety neighbor as he continued to berate her. Tripping over her own feet, she fell backward into her pumpkin. Its skin didn't feel like any pumpkin she had ever touched before. It felt reptilian and hard like a rock. The touch of the pumpkin suddenly threw her back into the terror of her dream, of the relentless monster that stalked each night. She jerked herself away from the pumpkin and fell hard on the ground, scraping her hands. Mr. Spivey threatened her. If she didn't get rid of that thing soon, he would get her evicted. That night, her dream was different. This time, she was the gigantic spider with the jack-o'-lantern face. On the hunt, and this time filled with a focused, malevolent rage. Her prey had tried to hide, but she could smell their sweat and taste their fear as she moved in for the kill. Triumphantly flipping her prey over with one of her gruesome legs, she realized it was Mr. Spivey. A dark glee filled her as she opened her massive jaws and chomped down, cutting him off mid-scream. Robin woke up yet again covered in sweat. The dreams were getting worse. Enough was enough, she thought to herself, heading to the hardware store for supplies. She had to get rid of this terrible pumpkin that her imagination was using as inspiration for these gruesome nightmares. When she returned home, there were police at Mr. Spivey's house. His door was bloody and broken off the hinges. Investigators suspected foul play, but there was no body to be found despite all the blood. Robin remembered her nightmare and looked at the mountainous gourd lurking in her backyard. It was nighttime by the time the police left. Robin then took the axe and herbicide she'd bought earlier into the backyard. When she got to the pumpkin, she noticed a new, smaller pumpkin had sprouted up next to it. It was growing more of itself. Robin quickly got to work. She began to pour the herbicide on the pumpkin vines when suddenly everything fell quiet and still. She felt uneasy. Something was wrong. The earth began to rumble beneath her and shifted as the vines ripped themselves out of the ground. They all suddenly looked like spider legs, and in unison, they pushed the giant pumpkin up out of the ground. Robin shrieked as she came face to face with the same jack-o'-lantern spider from her nightmares. It opened its massive jaws and roared with an unearthly voice.
What are you doing, Mother?
Terrified, Robin fell backwards and smashed into the smaller pumpkin next to her, cracking it open. Inside the broken gourd was the partially digested head of Mr. Spivey. Robin was overcome with horror and gasped out a broken scream. She tried to run, but she was surrounded on all sides by the spidery vine legs of the grotesque pumpkin monster.
Am I not as you made me, Mother?
It bellowed as she desperately clawed at the earth around her to crawl away. But just like her dream, the monster was faster and exclaimed,
Now you're food, like all the rest.
The monster bit down hard with its jack-o'-lantern jaw on her neck, yanking fiercely up into the air. As her headless body smashed into the ground, the pumpkin's vines opened a grave for her next to the headless body of Mr. Spivey. It covered the graves and settled back into place, feeding off the corpses decomposing below it. The next morning, another smaller, head-shaped pumpkin sprouted on the vine. I'm a frequent online shopper, and I love finding what I need online from the comfort of my own couch. But you know what's even better for me? Spending less on those items by finding the lowest price by using Honey. Honey is a free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and automatically applies the best one available at checkout. It's free, easy to use on your computer, and has over 30,000 supported websites. My mom's birthday is coming up, and I was able to find a wonderfully decadent spa day self-care basket for her to enjoy. Honey popped up in my checkout, and I was delighted to also save $9 on my mom's birthday find. Honey supports all kinds of retailers and a variety of interests, from tech and gaming sites to fashion brands to even food delivery. It's simple. If you have a computer, Honey should be on it. It's free and works with whatever browser you use. You can get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/SS. That's joinhoney.com/SS. Want more Something Scary? You can hear more stories over on the Something Scary podcast, available for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. The links are in the description below. Thank you to all of our patrons. While we do run a limited amount of ads, the show would not be possible without your support. If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Like and share this video if it gave you the chills, and don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and turn on the bell for notifications. And if you dare, follow me on social media. Until next time, my dark darlings, sweet dreams.